Yay, we're here.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Jason Edwards Show. I'm your host, Jason Edwards, and I have my good friend and somebody who I really respect in the industry, Joshua Powell here. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Hello, everyone out there.
So we're going to be talking a lot about Josh's acting career, and also really the focus today is going to be about creating your own work, because Josh has really been an inspiration to me on how to go out and do that and take resources that you don't have and piece them together to make really quality production. So if you're in the film industry, in the entertainment industry, or any industry that's in the arts, and you are using the excuse of not having the resources to get where you want to get, this man's going to hopefully solve all of our problems today. So let me know in the chat if you have any questions. Also, I really appreciate if you share this stream. It helps us get more viewers for not only this show, but the future shows. So with that being said,
I'm going to share it now. With that being said, I'm going to actually share it now. I
we'll
realized that I personally didn't even post that I was going to be on the show.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll share it in a minute. But I want
do see it there. There we are. We're working.
Okay, so we're on live at least. Let us know how the audio is. So with that, Josh, tell me, before we get into the nitty-gritty of creating your own work, how does someone like you get into acting in the first place? How did that start?
Okay, so I think with a lot of people, it comes from you've maybe seen some plays, maybe you saw some movies or TV as a kid, and now I think, I don't know, kids coming up of maybe even you see stuff on YouTube and your platform doesn't matter. But so for me, I auditioned for a play which was like Tom Sawyer when I was 6, I think, and I was the boy whitewashing the fence. So I booked a part. It was really, I think I just told my mom, like, I want to do this audition. I want to act or whatever. And so she took me down to the local playhouse in Biloxi. It was Center Stage, and they were about to make Tom Sawyer, and the director talked to me in the lobby, and I don't really remember what I said or what the script was, but I remember going to the rehearsals, and like most of what I remember about the rehearsals in the theater was not being on stage. It was thinking it took forever and sitting in the audience while I was supposed to be watching all of the adults work on their scenes and playing with like these little action figures that you put on a stand, and they would like kick each other. Yeah. And you were supposed to, that's what I did most of the time. But I was the kid that whitewashed the fence, and like I walk up with an apple, and then Tom's like, "Oh, this is so much fun," and then he convinces me that whitewashing a fence is fun, and so then I paint the fence for him, and he takes my apple and leaves.
Well, was that enough to get you addicted, or was it just like something that you did when you took a break?
At the time, no, it was not enough to get me addicted. It's like the first role. The thing that got me addicted to acting was really in college, and I went to a private Baptist college called Mississippi College, and small theater program. It was like my freshman year, spring semester, and I auditioned for Romeo and Juliet, and I got the part of Gregory, and I had fun doing that. And then from that point on, like when I started college, to clarify, I started as a music major, not even like doing acting, but I just always felt like, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing it, I can do that. It was a thought I had. I think a lot of times we have those thoughts about things we've never tried before. So it
looks easy. I mean, from an audience perspective, and you see an actor on stage, and it looks like, oh, anybody could do that. And then when you start doing it, sometimes you pick it up really quickly, and you're like, yeah, I was right. And then sometimes you realize it's,
and I think there are different aspects of it that are, and then there are different aspects of it that aren't easy. So was Gregory and Romeo and Juliet, and from that point on, as a music major, a lot of my time was taken up with like rehearsals and music and band practice and all that. So I just did these one-act plays every semester and continued to like build my confidence that way. And when I got to my junior year and was like panicking and saw 2.5 to 3 more years of college ahead of me because of the music program, I freaked out, and I changed my major, and I decided to go with communications with an emphasis in theater. And so that from there was where I ended up on this path of really studying like public speaking and acting and interpretive reading and directing and all that type of stuff. But I still wasn't doing anything in movies. And a lot of me would tell people, like I would be in plays and I would be doing things like a much more subdued way, and I would either be told by directors or I would tell people like, yeah, I'd rather be, I want to be doing movies. I want to do TV and movies, but like I had this like mindset of like after I get out of college, never even looked into an agent or anything like that, and so I graduated in 2008 and spent a year not really doing anything. And 2009, I became a part of a web series at a comic book store, and then started learning more about web series. And that's whenever like the Guild was really big with Felicia Day and Xbox Live stuff and video. I had watched the web series Ask a Ninja, and I thought I could make something like this. I should be doing this. So spring of 2010, I ended up starting my own video blog, like a vlog on YouTube, Suave Maurice on YouTube, and did a video every day for a year. And it changed. I think that's part of what changed everything for me, because I went from being somebody like auditioning for other people's projects or trying to be in a web series that was being shot locally to being someone who was using a camera and making some form of content. It wasn't, I think in some ways, some of those skits or what are on that vlog channel even now, I mean, now there's web series episodes or things where I tested stuff out and gone to conventions, shot travel videos, whatever. But
well, I think to pick up on that point, was there a moment of fear before you hit record the first time on a web series or putting yourself on YouTube for that full year of video blogs?
Yes and no. I mean, I think I just had, at that point, like I'd watched so many YouTubers and stuff, and I thought, well, why not? I think it's the same way now to some degree with like people who just make a quick Snapchat or Instagram video. Like some of it, we communicate in video messages so much anymore that I feel like even less now is it for people to say, hey, just start shooting something every day, do an update. Right. But I think that was early on. I think as I started to actually watch what I was creating, I started to become a little more self-aware and be like, I should redo that. Yeah. I should do another take. I should try to piece together like, oh, this doesn't make any sense. Like the story was there, but I didn't put the pieces there, whatever. And so that built my confidence as far as telling story, being in front of camera and stuff like that. It built a self-awareness. I think that doing a video, like a vlog, can be a good way for an actor to build this like sense of awareness of what you look like on the other side of the camera, even though you're not watching it. Because you're editing yourself later, you start to see your own mannerisms, and you have to accept who you are. Right. You have to accept what you really look like on camera. You can't be delusional the more times you're on camera and you edit yourself. Right.
And I don't know if you know this, but the first time that I ever did a live video was with you. We were both in Los Angeles. Oh, yeah. And I was like fearful for whatever reason. I mean, I've done theater for a long time. I've done public speaking, but for whatever reason, hitting that live button and not being edited, and I even did radio shows that were live at some point, but for whatever reason the video component I just had this block about, and you helped me break through that, and now I'm very comfortable with it. But I think, as you said, when you force yourself to put yourself out there every single day, you realize that it's not that bad. It's actually pretty fun to get the feedback from people and interact with people. There's going to be some haters, some trolls or whatever that are saying negative things just because that's what they do, regardless of the quality of the content. But I think it's a fun medium to get yourself going and just feel like you're doing something.
Right. Well, and it's not. I think in some ways it can be feeling like you're doing something. In other ways, it really is doing something because you're putting something out there. You're connecting with people. And you never know. I mean, you never know what's going to take off anymore. So even if all you do as an actor is start doing a vlog about like every day or once a week, and you talk about, hey, this week I had 4 auditions, you will have to get used to the fact that people are going to ask you, did you book? And they're going to ask you what the projects were, and you can't tell them. And a lot of times, like 90% of the time, you're going to say, no, I didn't book that project. But and I think that's actually something I'd love to dive into later, but specifically, should we be telling people when we're auditioning as actors? Because it's tons of older books that talk about like theater and being in the industry, and I mean by even older, I mean like written as early as 2009 or 10, will say, do not talk about your auditions. And yet as I've studied more of marketing myself and talked to you more and done more projects or even seen other actors in the industry lately, I see how they're building a community behind them that wants them to succeed by being honest, by saying like, hey, I've got an audition today or another good day and got an audition. And I think it can build a certain degree of momentum behind your acting career so that when you do succeed, those people feel like, because they were there for all of the pitfalls, all the times when it was like another audition, awesome, because it's positive, you've got an audition, but then they were also there to know, oh, well, you didn't book that time. So
I think I have mixed opinions about that with regards to auditions. I don't think I very rarely will put that out.
Yeah.
When I book something, then obviously I'm going to share that I'm excited, but I don't know. I hesitate to put out the auditions just because I feel like personally it's just fishing for a compliment sometimes. It can be.
It can be, yeah. No, I see that too.
So I don't know. But I see the perspective that you're saying too. Like it just the no filter kind of thing where you're just saying this is what I'm going through every day. And people say, well, why would anybody want to watch that? But that's some of the most popular things on YouTube is people just talking about their day and people watching it and chiming in. So it's, I don't know. I don't know if I'll get
it definitely was not me when I was actively making a video blog. Like when I was vlogging on a daily basis, it was not, I was not one of those people that was uber popular. I still was making it and it was fun, but I mean, that's something I would say. It was better for me that first year to commit to make a video of some sort every day for a year instead of doing it because, oh, well, I'm doing this to try to get 500 subscribers in the next month and then 1,000 in the next 2 months and then 1,500 in the next 3 months. Like, I didn't have any of those goals. And maybe I would have made a different product. I mean, that's part of why coming back now and looking back at YouTube and looking at the online marketing space and all with the show called Acting that I'm working on and the community I'm trying to build there and trying to put out how-to videos on YouTube and then put inspirational content on our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and Tumblr and, you know, it's so layered. But that has a purpose of like this how-to channel. All the information is centered around being an actor, being a DIY actor, as in by that I mean being your own writer, director, producer, and shooting your own projects, connecting with people, you know, building that community, shooting short films together, shooting web series, getting better at shooting video auditions, any of that stuff. And I think that channel has a lot more purpose behind it, but I don't know that I would be the person that could have created that if I hadn't done stuff years ago and been...
Yeah, I think everything's a building block to get you to somewhere else. So even if the things that you're putting out, even your first few videos, and Lord knows all of my beginning stuff was terrible and it's still improving every day, but I think you can't get to where you want to get if you don't start and have some terrible stuff that you just cringe when you watch later on. So, but what I want to dive into a little bit more is creating your own work. And I know that you talked about doing the vlog daily, which was kind of the beginning point of that. But then when you started shifting into making your own films and producing or collaborating with other people to make your own work, what was the decision to make that? Why did you do that? And then how did you make that process happen and see a finished product at the end?
So I think in some ways, and it didn't really even hit me until you just asked, because I've been asked this question in a ton of different ways, but something about how you just asked it was, I didn't have the forethought. Like I wanted to create something. I felt that need when I watched other people's projects. I already connect personal jealousy not with like something I should suppress, but I connect it with like, oh, I'm jealous because somebody else is booking parts, or wow, they have a really popular YouTube show. I should be making that. So that's my point. Like my connection when I ever any point, and I've heard it said before, like if you're jealous of anything, that actually lets you know what you should be trying to make. So that either one, you try and you find out, oh, this isn't fun to do. It's not as easy as I thought. I definitely respect that person more, and the jealousy goes away because you're like, I don't want to do it anymore. Or you get out your own creative energy, because I think tons of times we can be jealous. So some of it was really like, at the time, there was a guy in the Jackson area, 2008, 2009, who was making a web series. I had acted in that project. It was called Bags and Boards, about a comic book store that was in the local area. And I just thought this could be so much bigger. Like, he was shooting 20-minute episodes and he was putting them on Vimeo, and then he wouldn't share it on any social media platforms past that. He would just kind of post it and then be like, all right, let's shoot next week. And I was like, why aren't we giving this a life? Why aren't we sharing it with people and stuff like that? So the frustration with the way somebody else was managing it, the fact that out there at the time were people like Bo Burnham, who was big on YouTube at the time, and Shay Carl with the Shaytards, and them just doing a vlog, I thought I should just be doing something. I never know what's going to happen. I should be creating something. This could lead to other stuff, or even if it doesn't, it can be fun to go ahead and shoot a skit. So sometimes it'll be that. It'll be motivation by seeing others and thinking that thought of like, I can do this and I should be. Now, in actuality, in the moment, I have to learn stuff on the fly a lot of times. The other aspect of it sometimes can be like if there's a specific story you just want to tell. Mm-hmm. I think sometimes as an artist, we have things that we're like, oh, like I really want to share this. So for me, even now, vlogging can be something that I don't really want to do on a daily basis. But that when I take a trip, like when I went to Oxford, going to the Oxford Film Festival, that was fun to me. And so, I wanted to share that with people, so I cut together 3 days worth of videos. And so I think that can be the other side of it. It's being inspired by a story or a moment and wanting to share that or wanting to get something across. So on the acting side, if it's a web series or a short film, I think it would be a story that you want to share, inspiring.
You find that with vlogs, because I see a lot of people and I talk to them about the things that I follow, and they say nobody wants to watch my life or things like that. Do you find, even if they don't watch it, that it's therapeutic for you, or that it makes you even more present of what's going on during the day because you're putting it out for an audience?
Yes and no. So I think sometimes when I put the camera down and I just experience life, it can be good. But then other times when I'm more removed from that, I can think, oh gosh, I don't even for myself have photos or video of that moment. Like I forgot and I wasn't in a practice of shooting something. So I think there were two levels to that question though. One was like, is it therapeutic no matter if somebody watches it? And then am I making it for the audience, I guess?
Okay.
In a way, I guess that's, and I think yes and no. So if it's a skit, I definitely want people to watch it more. And I'm definitely like, I'm acting, this is a thing. But if it's a vlog, I kind of say I never know where it's going to go. I never know if I'm going to, do something stupid, catch it on camera, put it on the internet, and then it's going to be what gets me on, the Ellen show tomorrow.
Right.
But I think in the moment I'm not really thinking about that. Like I have fun, I post it, and sometimes I'll look and be like, oh wow, that got 77 views, great. And yet other times I'll post something and it has thousands of views and it was me at my cousin's wedding and I don't really know why.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I mean, I do know more analytically now. Like, okay, so it was connected to the wedding subgenre of films and it has a picture, a wide shot of a cathedral, all this other stuff. But
do you, now that you've done it for a while, think more strategically about what you're going to put out because you know what an audience may respond to, or do you still enjoy it and put everything out that you want to?
Yes and no. So as far
this isn't going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere. So yes, in regards to I am aware, but I don't cut myself off from creating the other stuff. So the Oxford Film Festival stuff, I assumed I was going to create. It would be fun. Some people may watch it. I should share it a few different places, but I didn't think it was going to go viral, really. Right. I just thought, I'll make this. It'll be. And I also was trying out some different editing techniques for myself and trying to make sure I caught some different things, the way I shot stuff, like slow motion, always being a part of the video and all this other stuff. Call to Acting, on the other hand, is a purposeful creation. So it is something that, as a how-to channel, as inspiration, as knowledge that I have about the film industry, about shooting home auditions, about headshots, about all this stuff, like getting an agent, any of that I wanted to put in one place and that I want to develop. I mean, there's 2 videos on the channel and it's in its infancy, literally created a month or 2 ago, but it would be the product that I would say that, the knowledge of understanding more analytics and like, well, a how-to channel tends to grow on its own. And it just took me many years to accept that.
Right. If you're just joining us, I'm here with actor, writer, producer Joshua Powell. He has a lot of background in creating his own work and short films and web series, as well as a vlog and many other films and TV shows that he's participated in. But if you have any questions, comment them below, and I'll get to some questions in a second. Our wonderful agent Angie from Action Talent says hello.
Hi,
hey, Angie. And I'm going to get to some other questions. Shauna says, magic happens outside your comfort zone. That's right. I love that.
Yeah.
Jeff says, nothing wrong with humble bragging. We were talking about the auditions earlier. Jeff says, what's the most aha moment about the marketing analytics side of vlogging filmmaking?
I think it was the accepting that how-tos really are what I should have been making early on. Or even if you're doing a vlog that, how do I put this? I'll go ahead and finish the statement, and then I'll double back on that thought. But so even if you're making a vlog, doing a video that is how-to in nature, even if it's literally a video where you just decided to shoot a video while you cook dinner tonight, but you put a few different tips and then you title it like how to cook my favorite meal, it's probably going to get more views or be found by more people because it's a term that people are searching. So that was kind of an aha moment years ago. And then again last year when I was like, what can I do? I hit a rut. And I was like, I want to create something. And marketing wise was reminded that, hey, how-to channels, people are already searching like, how do I market my company, or how do I shoot my video audition? How do I fill in the name of my camera that I own? How do I use my computer to edit? How do I edit an audition? How do I get an agent? How do I submit for part? Like any of those words, like all those are videos that not all of them, but most of them are videos that I plan to make on the Call to Acting channel just because people are already searching those terms.
I think something you said that stood out to me, you just said one word, but you said when you're in a rut. Mm-hmm. Do you find that doing something creative gets you out of those ruts? I find like this is not an easy business to be in. Really any business, you're going to have highs and lows. So do you find just doing, the act of doing something gets your mojo going?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I think we're sometimes really too focused on how we feel. So like I don't feel like shooting something today, or I don't feel like getting up and going to the gym, or I don't feel, So yes, if you start to ignore feel and it's just on my schedule, I'm supposed to do this at this time. Because I was even relating. Yesterday we shot on what should be a web series, may become a short film. But so it's kind of up in the air on this project. And got there, and there were tons of things that because I ended up traveling some, and, the writer, co-producer, co-director has a day job, and then this other director didn't think she was going to be able to be there, and then the director of photography was out of state shooting a documentary and just came in town like that morning. All of us knew we were showing up to shoot this, and there were actors showing up, and then there were certain things that I was freaking out about, like, do we have the props, or like location had canceled on us. Well, one location canceled like Wednesday, and then got a new location. They canceled on me Saturday afternoon, and we're supposed to shoot Sunday morning at like 9 or 10 a.m. And so we're at a location that just okayed us to shoot there at 10:30 at night. I'm nervous. I'm also the lead actor, but the script has been changed and then changed back, and so I'm not sure of what lines I was supposed to learn. Like tons of chaos. And yet we still shot something. And the statement came up early in the day when I was frustrated, like, well, maybe we should have just canceled. And I just disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think no matter what ends up in your path, whether it's yourself, I don't feel like getting up and doing stuff, or whether it is sometimes your own personal lack of planning or whatever, but when you get to the day, when you get to the moment, when you have the time and like, I'm supposed to shoot something, I think it's better to find a way to go ahead and create something then. And whether you'll learn something no matter what.
Do you think it helps you, or do you force yourself to have a schedule when you're doing something that is like, and I guess an even better question is, how do you force yourself with no one, making you do anything? How do you still stay motivated to do it?
Putting stuff in my phone. So if I have a reminder now that goes off, I think Apple just updated, and you have like the sleep or the Apple bedtime thing, and it'll be like, what time do you need to go to bed? Honestly, currently trying to wake up at 5 a.m. every day to make it to the gym between 5:30 and 6. Hey, and we're still here, just so you know, we're fixing the camera. But between 5:30 and 6, I wake up every morning, and my phone goes off and tells me to do it. It tells me that, it's like, hey, get up, go to the gym. And so starting to build that habit. But it also now tells me to go to bed at 9 o'clock at night. It says, like, hey, if you don't go to bed now, you're not getting 8 hours of sleep.
So if you don't do any of those things, and that's great, because I set 50 alarms to wake up. So how do you make yourself, though? And more importantly, like, as far as the accountability of putting something out.
Okay, so I think one thing I've used is the accountability of crowds. So putting it out there, like the fact that I talk about the fact that I go to the gym so early anymore, people have started to say, like, hey, I've seen your pictures from the gym. It's insane that you're that committed, like, to be up that early and that you're going on a consistent basis, or that it's a part of my, my dating relationship with my fiance, that we actually go together. That's the other part of it, though. So I have a partner to meet me there that I'm supposed to meet every morning.
She commented anyway, hey, love, looking good. I thought she was talking to me, but I think it's you.
I think she may. We'll just say it was both of us.
And your fiance meets you at the gym at 5 a.m.-ish, too.
That's what I just said. See?
Yeah, she caught you. Or I caught you. Or I didn't listen.
So
I think that's good. So we're getting somewhere. We're making some progress, Josh. You're not giving me a yes and no answer anymore. No. So back to the web series really quickly, then we'll wrap up in a little bit.
Yeah.
But, so those types of things, the short films, working on crews, all those things that we haven't really touched on, you've kind of found your way to constantly be busy doing something around the industry that you want to work in, ultimately as an actor, ideally. But I think those other things contribute to you being able to do that. Talk about what the end goal is for maybe creating those things. Like, are you just doing it to stay active, or are you trying to get those things as calling cards to put out there to the world that see what you can do, or...
Does it have to be one? I know you hate these yes and no answers. So I feel like sometimes, with that, any project I make, I want to learn something new. So Bare Knuckle, the short film that's on Vimeo and YouTube, where I'm a bare knuckle boxer, Scottish immigrant to the United States, 1880s. It was a project where I spent months practicing. I mean, I did boxing, sparring stuff, got punched in the face a lot, like tons of stuff like that, and I had to learn this skill that went along with that character. So I always want that. I want, whether it's a new place emotionally, a new place character development wise, a new physical skill, whatever. With acting, I'd love to always be doing something that stretches me and helps me learn something new, and so then it's beneficial no matter what. I also want those projects to come out and be of high quality. I want there to be a certain degree of publicity with them so that they could help me book the next project. If I'm at a film festival, I'd always, love for somebody to see a short film or a feature film, or if something, hits, I'm in a TV show, I'd always want for that to be seen by somebody who also writes, directs, and produces, and says, hey, I saw you in this, I want you in my show, or I want you to be in this web series. And it does happen. I think for me, as of late, I think it's always, sometimes it's either on the same level or a layer down. So I think if I book a feature film and I'm in some movie, then somebody that's making like a no budget, no pay project might say, hey, I want you in my project. So it still gets me acting work, but it doesn't get me another paycheck. But and I think that's the dirty part of the art that people don't want to talk about either, is the fact that I'm creating stuff all the time, and some of it pays the bills and some of it's just me making stuff. And you've got to just make stuff no matter what it does. But that would be the third part. So the third part of it is, one is learn a new skill. Two is, does it get me publicity and then possibly help me book another part? It'd be great. And then three is, does it itself have potential to make a profit? Because then it can help me put money back into the next. So, if we make a great feature film together, we'd always love for it to do well so that we can make a sequel.
Right.
Or a spin-off or something. If we do one episode and put something out as a concept skit idea on YouTube and it goes viral, then we're probably going to turn that into a web series of sorts. So I think that's the third thing I'm always hoping for.
Right.
I don't know that I've ever really had it, but I'm always hoping for it.
No, I think that's great. And so let's shift as we tie up here and kind of start wrapping up to some acting stuff, because I know you mentioned the call to acting vlog that you're starting, as well as I don't know if you have a site or whatever, and some classes that you're teaching. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, tips for beginner actors to get in, or maybe some audition tips or something that you have that you've been kind of promoting recently?
So calltoacting.com is the website. The blog is not up there yet. So we do have a YouTube channel, at Call to Acting, all spelled out, is the way to find us. Pretty much Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, any of those. And I mean, I really feel like the one thing that has resounded with me is learn your damn lines.
Okay.
It really does, because so many different acting techniques, as whether it's experiment with new things or see different ways that people do stuff, study with new people, study different things, and do stuff off the cuff. The two things that are important are either, one, like how well do I know my lines and how flexible am I with that, or two, how well do I know this character. So the web series we were shooting yesterday, it was, like I said, I got the script the night before. Some of it had been changed. Didn't have a ton of time to just sit there like word for word and know it, but I had played the character before when we were trying to get this, it's called Hooligans, when we were trying to get this web series off the ground. And a lot of what I did yesterday was just be in the moment, like just be crazy, be the character, or use my nerves from whatever. And so I think there's like two sides to it. I think one can be like, be prepared. And I think that's what really the whole learn your damn lines comes down to. Is, are you prepared? Have you read through the script with other people? Maybe that's the big tip I would say too, is you can think you know your lines. You can learn them, and you can do the write it out technique, which a lot of people do. Dustin Hoffman talks about that he doesn't like to say them until he's in the process of acting. He'll write the script out and write out his lines and write it hundreds of times. Then there are other people that will, go through and they'll highlight this section and they'll write like, to get love, to feel, to do, and like do that whole aspect of like, what are your motivations? What are your subtext? What's all that? And then there's like the taking it off the page technique, like reading it out loud as like a little section. What is the first thing that comes to mind emotionally for you, and doing that. But with any of those, what I think happens is that we as actors, because especially when I shoot people's auditions, we think we know the lines. We think we know the character. And then a camera turns on and somebody's standing behind the camera as a reader, and they'll start reading with you, and you know it, but you look like you're reciting it to them, or you freeze up that first time, which is a good sign that you don't actually know it as well as you thought you did. And so I always just have to remind myself like that I need more rehearsal than I think. But then when it gets to the moment, just let it go.
Right.
Like when it gets to the moment of acting, if I feel like all of a sudden in that moment I want to do something totally different that's crazy, I should probably just go with it. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm on film and we can do another take. Because like that's the thing that with film that is so great is you get to try it a ton of different ways. It's not theater. It's not stand-up comedy. And I'm not in front of a crowd, basically, aside from the crew that's going to judge me later. But they will anyway.
Most of the time, they're not even paying attention. They're doing their own thing.
So I think that, the big tip is like, you don't know it when you think you know it. And so practice it more and get it out loud. Stop with so many people will tell me they know their lines, and what they've done all day is they've read through it, and maybe they've read it out loud, but they've read it by themselves. The big thing that I find that throws me off when I think I haven't learned is when I read with another person. I can read with another person 4 or 5 times, go through the scene, and get a flow going that's like, okay, this is the call response, and actually know my lines. I can read it off a page for 3 days and know both people's lines, but I become not present when the other person talks, or I'm like, oh, they didn't say it how I thought they would, or just tons of stuff.
And I think everybody learns their own way, but you found the way that you respond to best. So.
Yeah.
Cool. So to wrap up, how can people find more about you, the call to acting, maybe your own personal stuff?
Yeah. So on Instagram and Twitter, I am at suave_Maurice. I still use that name. It's still a channel on YouTube, and I still post to it as well. As far as my personal stuff, and then call to acting, at call to acting. I think you can put that in the description and all, or whatever, the video. But on Instagram, Twitter, we have calltoacting.com, and we'll have a blog going up and stuff like that, how-tos. I'd love for people to find the Facebook page and tell me what they want to know. Like, what's the one big question you have? An area that, is it about auditioning? Is it about character development? Is it simply how to find an agent? Like, I don't want to make a video about like how to find an agent if nobody really wants to see that. Like,
yeah, I think it's great advice. I appreciate you coming on and spending some
it's been
time
great.
here in the studio. If you have any questions for Josh on this, you can go ahead and comment them below, and then maybe he'll jump back in after the show and respond to some of those. Also, check him out at all of his social media platforms. This will be on iTunes and Stitcher and other places later. I appreciate you guys sharing and watching. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys on the next show.
Bye.